Hey, VCC members. I wanted to talk to you about kind of some things that I've been experiencing in 2020. Maybe you have as well. Maybe it will be helpful to you. But before I get to that, I just want to give you a quick update on the St. Louis County guidelines and orders that have come down that are going to be are put into place this week and how it will affect our church. The short picture explanation is it won't change much because of our structure. Even the 25% capacity won't change our capacity because of the way our sanctuary is. Children's ministry will continue on, and if it ever gets warm out and you want to, we'll still be able to have the outdoor patio going where you can take off your mask if you like. Now, I want to just also say thank you so much for honoring the guidelines. Even in deciding whether you should come or not, if it's a wise thing, and being wise about that. I know sometimes you want to come and it's just, you've had a COVID exposure or something and you say, you can't. And I appreciate you doing that. Also, for those who come, I know that the guidelines are easy for some and really hard for others, and I understand that. I just want to say thank you. The good news is I don't think we've had any COVID transmission in our Sunday service or any other of our events or groups, and so that's good. So keep praying as the COVID numbers kind of keep ticking up. But what I wanted to talk about is a theme of 2020 for me. One of the themes. There's probably many things. One theme could be weird. That's not it. That's one theme. The theme I'm talking about is what I think is common among most people that I talk to is 2020 has been a year of loss. It's been a year in which that people have experienced loss because there's been so much that has changed. It's not the way it was. Church is not the way it was. Your work usually is not the way it was. Who your kids play with in school and how you shop and how you celebrate things and how you mourn for someone who died and all the things that I could just go on and on. Everything has changed. And in the middle of a really time that we're already tired from all the political unrest and division and the racial injustice and the tensions there and all the things about how we view COVID. All that's just already exhausting, and then we have this whole swing of changes. And so maybe there's a gain there somewhere, like maybe if you are able to work in your pajamas at home that you can say, hey, COVID has helped me. But as a rule, this 2020 I think is marked by loss. And when we lose something, the only way of getting through a loss is by grief. And early on in the spring, I heard a teaching on grief and the stages of grief, which I'm familiar with as a pastor, but it was such a good reminder, and it has helped me so much as I've had to deal with loss, right? And I think everybody is dealing with this. And so, the stages of grief, and it's this place of whether you're in denial where you just don't want to think about it. You kind of just shut down and disappear, right? And then sometimes the stages jump around, and then sometimes you can become extremely angry. Like, hey, who's to blame on this? Who allowed this, right? And I felt that so many different times. And then there's a place in which that the stage is called bargaining, where your mind is trying to make sense of, okay, if I do this, it's going to get better at the end, and it'll all work out. And a lot of that, I think you just find your mind trying to make sense of things over and over, and you stay up at night sometimes, or you wake up in the middle of the night just bargaining. You're trying to make sense of it. And the fourth stage of grief really is just depression and kind of sadness, a deep sadness, sometimes to the point of almost feeling hopeless, not being able to see a path forward. It's a very painful time. But it does move to the fifth stage, and it will move to the fifth stage, I promise you it will, is acceptance. A place in which that you're able to accept what is there in front of you and find yourself actually hoping again and seeing a path, right? Now, you know, in our church we talk a lot about embracing your pain. In other words, don't run from your pain, turn to God in your pain. And I think this place of loss is the pain that comes from loss. What I'd say, and I want just to encourage you, is understand, first off, if you are feeling some of the things I just described, you just need to know you're not alone. Everybody is feeling this at a deep level. I may look really perky on Sunday, but I am feeling this all the time. Now, I can say right now, I can honestly say to you, I've got to a place that I've grieved certain things, and I'm on the other side. I'm now having hope coming again. But I'm not done grieving. There's other things that are still going on in this place of working through the stages of grief. And so as I say that, I want you to know you're not alone in this. And I also want you just to encourage you to allow God into your process of grief, into your stages of grief. And welcome him into it. Invite him in. And this takes faith to invite him into your anger. Invite him into this place of your mind going 90 miles an hour. Invite him into this place when you feel discouraged and sad in your sadness. And welcome other people in as well. This is where God will, and we do this, and we do it with God. We don't just get through and get kind of back to normal. There's something deep that happens in this process that we will never lose, that will benefit the rest of our life from. So I just want to say, as a church, one of my big prayers is that we can be this authentic community, that people can really be where they're at, and that people who are bubbling over with hope can express it, and those who are in the process of grief can express it, and God can come into both places. I want to have a family like that, right? That's what we need right now. And so I want us to be a church that weeps with those who weeps and rejoices with those who rejoice. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't, maybe it will help later. All right, blessings.